Wheels on Wednesday is brought to you by Head Motor Company Kia. Former Tiger kicker Tom Wheelahan has some thoughts on the Mizzou recruiting class announced today. We heard what Coach Pinkel thinks about the rating system. How about Wheels?
It's like glass and mirrors, you know, like a David Copperfield magic show where he makes this elephant appear out of nowhere. You got all these kids with all these stars, and you know they want the highest rated, but that's ridiculous in itself. But I like Pinkel the way he does it. He doesn't care if you're a star or not. If you're an athlete and you fit the program and you fit his structures and principles, then he's going to ask you to be a Missouri Tiger. But other than that, it's an utter joke. The thing that's changed since I got recruited was the coach would fly to your house. He'd sign you, take a couple snapshots, and then it's over with. Nowadays, they have these ceremonies at the high school. They have a cake, they have balloons, which is even more idiotic. I mean, it's great the kid got a scholarship, but really, you want to parade around like a piece of meat? Like a cow going to get butchered at a cow factory? It's a joke. Anyways, that's the way the signing process works. You have to recruit your kid up to the point where he puts in the correct fax number. There have been places where the kid puts the wrong fax number in there and it goes to a different school. And the coach says, hang around, and they wait for that fax machine to go up. And that's the difference the way it is now than when I did it. Plus, they have Twitter and Facebook and all that other stuff. And, you know, coaches just called me. And if I went home, they left a message on the entry machine, but that's the way it's turned. That's the way it's changed. And kids never entered early when I went to school. Now you got 5 kids on campus, which is great, I guess, but I don't know if they can go to the senior prom or not. All right, this is Tom Wheelahan live, Wednesday with Wheels, talking to Andy Hill, one of the primary recruiters for the Missouri Tigers. And as you can tell, he's a lot older than I am because he was actually my host when I came up in high school. But, you know, everyone asks you the regular questions of this recruit, all this stuff, but we want to go behind the scenes. Now, Andy, when you're on the road, where is the best place in the South to have barbecue?
Well, the place with the most notoriety is Dreamland in Alabama. But for me, I spent a lot of time in Kansas City. And you can go to Oklahoma Joe's because they have burnt ends on Wednesdays and Saturdays only. And then you want to go to Jack Stack Barbecue for the prime rib and their beans.
What's a burnt end?
What's a burnt end is basically the end of a rib that's cut down and basically a beef brisket cube.
Okay.
That you can just lay in the barbecue sauce and chew on them.
Okay, all right, let's go another direction now. When you're down in the South recruiting these kids, we all know you got to recruit the moms and the dads. What's the difference from recruiting a kid from a mama in the South and recruiting a kid from a mama in the Midwest?
I'd say they're more involved, certainly, but it depends on the family totally, you know. And but I think you do have more people interested in the South when it comes to family decisions, the mother being the most prevalent and certainly the decision maker to help. But I think you have aunts, uncles, grandparents who are all very involved in the South, and that's because of the SEC and what the conference has been for such a long time.
Tell us a story how if you've had to gone to recruit in the South and actually had to work the room where you go in the house, you have 5 or 10 people there, you got to shake all these hands, hugs, and kids. Tell us a funny story.
Well, yeah, I mean, the scariest stories you get down there, and there's you know, you're kind of scared to go back into the house because of all the stuff that goes outside. But really, there's nothing that's hugely different in the sense that you're going down south, or we're going into central Missouri or mid Missouri or Kansas City. It's all about the people surrounding the recruit and getting the right guy, and certainly help the decision makers.
Now, with all the success Missouri had, you know, Coach Pinkel talked about earlier how the first year in the SEC had some bumps. Now you're not having bumps. Are people now really happy to see you guys? Or like, oh, you're Missouri, we know who you are?
Yeah.
Is it a lot easier now going down there?
Well, this year is a lot different, especially in the South. That people saw us play and saw as we won, I think it kind of validated our season. We went down to Georgia and won the game, and then most of our games were on TV in either prime time or certainly a good slot for people to see. And then when you got to you beat A&M here, you beat Ole Miss down there in the latter part of the season. To really, when the chips were on the line, you had to win those games to get to the SEC championship, and then the SEC championship being one of the most watched games of the season. People saw us play, and they liked our style, whether it's our offense or defense. And I think, for me personally, I haven't been here 18 seasons. This is probably our most complete team: offense, defense, and special teams.
Are the stadiums as cool as you see on TV, like when you get there? I mean, is Georgia really as cool, like between the hedges? Are there some cool stadiums you guys got to go to?
Well, they're very substantially large. But yeah, I mean, you're talking. Last year we went to South Carolina in the swamp. This year, you went to Georgia. It was a really cool place. Tennessee last year. I mean, there's some very impressive structures, and the fans, as we become more and more competitive to those fans down there. I think last year we were just kind of, all Missouri's here. Now, when you win some games, they're going to start gunning for us, and they're going to be rocking our buses and yelling things at us, and so that's going to make it more fun as we get going.
We got to get out of here, Andy. One last question. What is the biggest thing that excites you about getting to go down the South and play in the SEC?
Well, it's a challenge. I mean, as a competitor, you want to play at the highest level. And if you're a college football coach, you want to play in the best league, and the SEC is no doubt the best league. When you see you play against how many 63 guys got drafted last year out of our conference, and you're seeing those guys get drafted. You see them play on Sundays, and you're saying, hey, we played against that guy, we played against that guy, or we played with him on our team. And so to me, playing as a challenge and a competitor, it's a challenge to play in the SEC, and that's what's fun for us, is to be able to go out and have success doing that, and hopefully got some more years to come.
Great. Live from the Clinton Room, Andy Hill with Tom Moynihan for Wednesdays on Wheels. Thank you.